friends, now that the new year is finally here, I am looking ahead toward the 2021 gardening season. I'm especially excited this year because it is our first year in our new home, so we are starting completely from scratch. I'm Kim from Homestead Hopeful, and today I'm going to share with you 5 ways that I'm preparing for the 2021 gardening season. Join me. The first way that I am getting ready for the 2021 gardening season is by organizing my 2021 gardening notebook. This is my gardening notebook. I used it last year, but not very well. So this year I'd like to be a little bit more purposeful. I went through already and organized the different sections, so let me show you what I have. All right, here's my gardening notebook. And in here I've just compiled mostly free resources. Some of it's just pretty little artwork that I liked, and the rest is actual informational handouts and pages that I use to organize it. Inside my notebook, this inside pocket is just going to be for projects that I'm working on currently and any notes or things that I need to get done quickly. Right now, this is just a spot to keep track of my seed swap. That's gonna happen in just a couple days. On my table of contents, I have number 1 is the current garden plans. So this is what I want to plant, where I want to plant it, and when I want to plant it. It's also going to include a sketch of my garden beds and monthly to-do lists. This section number 2 is garden notes and journaling. This isn't gonna include any of the actual to-do things. This is more to record my observations and things like that. This third section is for past garden plans so that I can look back on my observations. Number 4 is planting calendar and dates. So this is more for like my zone specific month by month what to plant. Number 5 is for companion planting. This helps me to plan out my beds so that I can know what to plant together, what works and what doesn't. Number 6 is square foot and container gardening. So this will tell me space-wise what I can fit in there. Number 7 is for soil health. So this would include things like soil tests and information and research about soil, or even things like maybe about vermicompost and composting and that sort of thing. 8 is for plant info research. So this is plant-specific notes and guides. Number 9 is for pest management. These are for pests that I've dealt with and I've identified. Number 10 is for seed saving. 11 is receipts and invoices. So these are things that after I've ordered seeds or any kind of gardening supplies, I have the receipts in the back. 12 is for my perennials. So this is where all my perennial flower information and things like that are gonna go. Okay, so that's how I have my gardening notebook organized. The second thing that I am doing to prepare for the 2021 gardening season is I am taking inventory of all of my seeds. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and I will take each one out. I'll write them down, what variety I have. So I'll write, beets, and then I'll list the 3 different kinds that I have. I would take note of all the different seed varieties that I do have. Once I have an inventory list of the seeds that I already have, then I have the pleasure of going through all the seed catalogs and looking at all the different varieties and reading about them to find out which ones I am most interested in growing this year. I am very, very, very excited to have found this at my local Tractor Supply, and luckily for me, for Christmas, I have a $50 gift certificate waiting for me. The third thing that I'm doing to prepare for the 2021 gardening season is taking inventory of my seed starting supplies, seed starting medium, so like soil or cocoa cord or something like that. A lot of this was given to me by my mom. She happened to clean out her shed and found all of these different pots and things, and even some of these seed starters that she didn't even use. So some of them will need to be cleaned out, so that's going to be on my to-do list. So that's another thing that you can find out just by taking inventory of what you have. So what I'm going to be doing is, now that I know some of the varieties that I want to start and I know which ones that will need to be started indoors, I will go through all my supplies and figure out what I need to clean, how many of each thing that I'll need. I've also been saving a lot of my recyclables that I can use as pots. So I can cut off this creamer container right about there, and that makes a nice size pot to pot things up. I also have been saving my toilet paper rolls for things like peas. I've also started saving some of these plastic food containers that are food grade to be able to put plants in. So I've also been saving all of the milk cartons because I can cut them off at the bottom, and that's also a nice size pot, and I already know that they're food grade because milk came in them. While you're checking your seed starting supplies and inventory, you might want to check and make sure that you have enough room for where you're going to start your plants. This year, since we're in a new home, I have to figure out a whole new spot that I'm going to put my seed starting supplies and where I'm going to put my germination station. This is what I used last year, and it was very effective. Another thing that you might want to think about while you're taking inventory of your supplies is plugging in your lights and or heating mats if you have. I just want to check, especially since we moved with this, I want to make sure that it works properly. All right. And it works. So test out your supplies so that just in case you do need to replace anything, now is a very good time to do it and not when you're actually starting your seeds. The fourth thing that I am doing to prepare for the 2021 gardening season is coming up with my garden plan. Since we have a new very, very large area that we can garden, I am starting out with a monster of all garden plans. This is dreaming big, so I don't even know if this is something that we can pull off this year, so I'm going to come up with 2 garden plans. This is the first one on a very grand scheme. So this is if everything falls into the right places, we can find the amount of compost that we want, we can find the fencing that's affordable enough. So there's a lot of details that go into this that may not happen. However, if we can pull it all off and everything falls into the place the way that it would need to be in order to have this large garden, I've already got the garden plan planned out. I will have a plan B, so having a good garden plan though is helpful in case in situations especially like this, if you don't get your first wish, you have a plan B. The fifth way that I'm preparing for the 2021 gardening season is by devouring information about gardening. I have a bunch of questions that I wrote down in my garden journal notes from last year that I'm trying to answer for this year. I'm also looking up some of the pest issues that I had and trying to find answer for those so that I'm prepared for this coming year. I'm also preparing for something totally different. Last year I had a 4x7 square foot garden as well as some container plants, but I have a lot more space this year, so I'm not limited by space. So I have been working on these books and working my way through them. So this is how I'm spending my time right now this winter. Whenever I have a downtime, I am reading and devouring all of these wonderful resources to learn more about gardening. So hopefully that will pay off. Okay friends, if you've stuck with me this far, here is my 6th bonus tip on what I'm doing to prepare for the 2021 garden season. So I'm trying to do my part on preparing and saving as many things for compost as I possibly can. We have been saving some of the bunny poo and the bunny droppings and some of the shavings and things like that in order to go in the compost pile. I have been saving all of the coffee grounds, plant cuttings, and even the coffee filters since they are recyclable and biodegradable. All of the eggshells and food scraps from dinner I've been saving and putting those into plastic bags. These are all filled with food scraps that I have saved and just put in the freezer in a freezer bag. So there's some like grapes in there and broccoli and eggshells. I will save these for the springtime when it is warm enough for us to actually start a compost pile. I just don't have anywhere to put it right now, or else I would go right outside. I've also been saving all of these egg cartons, not for seedlings or anything like that, but for compost. So these will be nice when I add them to the compost. So I've been saving all of those. I also saved all of these boxes from our move. These are boxes that are just brown. There's no color in them, so that I can open them up and lay them down in order to start a no-dig garden. So there you have it, friends. That is my 5 things that I am doing in order to prepare for the 2021 gardening season, plus a little extra bonus. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If so, give it a thumbs up and please subscribe to be able to follow my journey. Thanks bunches. Bye-bye for now. So, behold. Here is my 6th bonus thing that I'm doing in order to prepare. That's the bunnies. Okay, friends, if you've gotten with me, if you